Peter Fragale is our next speaker, SVP for HR of Center Light Health Systems. He will talk about team building and employee trust and the thing that we all fear, vulnerability. Peter.
Good morning. And thank you, Kate and the 5 O'Clock Club for inviting me here, and I'm honored to be amongst this great panel. I love telling this story because especially the immediate reaction I get every single time I tell it. And it's usually, oh, you know what, Peter? This could never happen in our organization. You took a tremendous risk, one that my boss would never take. And before I go into about what the story is all about and the retreat that I had with my HR senior staff, I want to tell you a little bit about the background of my company, Center Light Health System, and the incredible 7-year growth. We've gone from 2,500 employees to 4,000 employees. Gone from approximately 3,500 members, patients, to 13,000 members and patients. From a roughly $300 million company to what is now a $1 billion company. And so with that has come terrific pressure, scrutiny, growing pains, more like growing punches. Every single time we hired someone, boom, hire that person quicker. Train them quicker. If we have to fire them, get that done quicker. And it's created a tremendous amount of pressure on my staff, on every single department. And the senior executives started putting pressure on me. Peter, we're a $1 billion company. What does your HR department look like, or what is it supposed to look like for a $1 billion company? Are you prepared? So I had to ask myself a number of these type of questions. Am I prepared? I had to do a little introspection. Is my staff prepared? Have I prepared my staff? And I always consider myself, you know, Kenneth spoke about employee engagement. I consider myself Mr. Engager. Employees trusted me. I always spent a lot of quality one-on-one time with each and every one of them. I felt as if they can come to see me anytime, open door policy. Then I started to hear some rumblings amongst my staff. Collaboration wasn't really there. Territorial issues, silos. Then they started coming to me and complaining. Peter, I don't know if I trust him. Peter, I don't know if she's got my back. Then I knew it was time for an intervention. I needed to reshape my department, and I needed collaboration. I couldn't do it alone, and I needed them. I knew I had the right people, but were they able to collaborate together? So I had this intervention. Trust and Vulnerabilities retreat, be at so-and-so place, expect a full day. As they started walking into the conference room, I was looking at their faces, looking at their body language. My new OD director says, oh, Peter, what you were doing is biofeedback. You were looking to see their emotions, and I saw fear, and I saw anxiety, and I had to ensure that they were in a safe place. And the topic said trust and vulnerabilities, and now I had to really focus on vulnerability. And in order to keep them in a safe place, I had to share my own personal and professional vulnerabilities with them. I needed them to be in a safe place. And we started sharing that with them. And the more, it's a funny thing about human nature. When you start sharing your own vulnerabilities, for the most part, people don't want to kick you to the curb. They want to help you up. And they started sharing, and you can start seeing that look of anxiety. And I'm constantly gauging everyone's face and their body language, both verbal and nonverbal expressions. You know, how are they taking this? And I started seeing a change, slightly, but it started to work. Now for the exercise. And this was the hard part. I had these large posters, and in each poster I had their name boldly written, including my own. Each one had their own name, and it had two columns. It had a plus sign, and it had a negative sign. And I said, all right, I got to start with me first. And I said, you know what? I need everyone here to let me know what's the single most contribution that I add for the benefit of this team, for the benefit of this organization. And that was the easy part. And they were saying, oh, Peter, you're great at this, and you're a great leader, and you're helpful to us, and you're a teacher, and so forth, and give us opportunities. Oh, this is great, and this is nice and easy. It made me feel good. My pride was right up there. Then came the hard part. Now they needed to share with me one area that I needed to improve or eliminate for the good of the team. And here again, looking for that biofeedback, and I started seeing fear in their eyes. Am I going to tell the Chief Human Resources Officer, my boss, what he should eliminate? And so the first courageous person started to share what I should eliminate. So I started writing. They said, you know, Peter, you need to become more available. So I started writing, and I said, you know what, I'm going to stop writing. I said, nah, I'm not going to write that down. I'm not going to accept that. And they looked, what do you mean? I said, no. You know what? All of you could become more available. That's a cop-out. In fact, I'm sure every single person here can say, you know what? I could become more available to my team. I said, no. Hit me. And my VP of operations, she likes to tell this story. She said, no, you didn't say hit me. You said, hit me. Give it to me. Tell me it straight. And that was important. I needed to know. I needed to let them know I'm serious about this. And it's for my own personal good, my own personal development, as well as for yours. You have to tell me, how can I improve for the good of this team? And then I can start seeing, wow, he's serious. Oh, and they hit me. And they let me know. And I started writing it down. And it was important for me to gauge their feedback, but also to make sure that I'm not letting them know. Because I'm sure some of them felt, wow, if I tell him, if I hit him hard, is he going to retaliate in any way? Is he going to treat me differently? I was very cognizant of that. Throughout the entire retreat, I was very cognizant of that. And I had to let them know they were in a safe place, that it was okay. Because guess what? Now it was their turn to stand up and hear from me and their colleagues what they needed to improve upon. And it was hard, but you can see now a little less anxiety, a little less fear. And they started sharing that. And I constantly reminded them this was for the good of the team, the good of the organization. And that brought me to the second part of the retreat. And once I start seeing, and it was incredible, it was like this liberation, this heavy burden lifted off their shoulders. They felt much more at ease, more comfortable. And I said, ripe for the next part. And that was, we need to reshape this department. We need to look differently. And we started, and we filled 2 whiteboards with a new TO, columns of responsibilities, tasks, reshifting of responsibilities. And also, we had to ask ourselves some tough questions. Who amongst the staff was going to make it and who's not? And they were collaborating. And listen, they were going at it each other. But you know what? It was in such a collegial, respectful way. And I said, wow, this is working. And it was funny, at the end of that retreat, you can see there was this, renewed energy. And I had just stepped out for a quick break. And when I returned, I saw them all huddled together. And as soon as I entered, they stopped talking. And I said, what's going on? And they said, well, we're all going out to dinner tonight. And I said, oh, great. She goes, but you're not invited. And they're all talking. I said, good. They're bonding. I said, beautiful. That's perfect. Now, some successes after that. So that happened about approximately 3.5 months ago. And since then, we brought on 2 new directors. So it was important to acclimate them to this new culture. And we do that. And we do it together. And they bond. And when they see issues, they collaborate. But what's most important is that there was this rejuvenation of ideas, of collaboration. We created an HR metrics report, recruitment. We hired 180 new employees in the span of 3 months. 10 new senior executive titles, including my own 2 senior staff members, new additional senior staff members. We increased our onboarding process, improved our onboarding process, decreased our time to fill. And even better, we increased stakeholder satisfaction. And that was so important for our organization to look like a department that is prepared for a billion-dollar company. So I ask, you know, in the beginning, someone says, usually they say to me, Peter, you took a big risk. I say, if you don't do this, it's a greater risk. Thank you so much.
So we have a great example there of something that takes real courage. Maybe your questions will be, how do you find the courage to do that for your organization? Maybe you'll also have examples of other things that you've done that required courage. Our final speaker will be Alessandra Cavalluzzi, and she is the Senior Manager of Community Relations at MSC Industrial Supply. She's going to talk to us about how to create a culture of giving in your organization. She refers to her employees as associates, something you may choose to do after you hear her as well. Alessandra.
Good morning. First, before I start, I just want to say great presentations, right? Weren't they awesome? Why don't we give them another round of applause? Fantastic. Yes, I am Alessandra Cavalluzzi. I'm the Senior Manager of Community Relations for MSC Industrial Supply Company. We are a company, we are one of the largest in the nation as far as manufacturing of industrial supplies and equipment. We've been around since 1941. We're headquartered on Melville, Long Island, and also in Davidson, North Carolina. We've got over 100 branch locations across the country. We've also got locations in the UK and in China. And we've got 4 distribution centers throughout the country as well. So I'm really, you know, I look around the room and I'm really inspired, and I'm excited to be in the room with so many talented individuals and to share the stage with my esteemed fellow panelists. In a few minutes here, we're going to take some Q&A from everyone. But before I do that, I first want to thank Kate and the 5 O'Clock Club for inviting me here to speak with you today about a topic that I am very passionate about, and that is creating a culture of giving in your organizations. There's a lot of discussion about the importance of corporate social responsibility and its impact on our local communities, on a company's image, and even on a company's bottom line. Yet, for all the conversations on this topic, there's an area that's often overlooked, and that is how CSR, but in particular corporate giving, helps to strengthen a company's culture, how it engages associates at all levels, and how it contributes to a company's growth. And as Wynn said, at MSC we refer to employees as associates because we truly see the success of our business as a partnership. So as I said, we're going to be taking some questions later, but first I have some questions for you. What would you say if I were to tell you that you could strengthen your company from the inside by helping on the outside? Or what if I told you that you could actually grow your company by giving to others? Or that you could enhance your company's brand identity utilizing your associates as ambassadors? All of these things are true. A lot of the roadblocks that companies come up against when they're starting to formulate or thinking of launching a corporate giving program really stem from some common misconceptions around this topic. And so I thought that I would address some of those common ones today. One that I hear a lot is a charitable giving program, it's a nice to have, right? But it's not really a need to have because it's not tied to core execution. That's my naysayer voice, by the way, so I use that every now and then. Actually, it has everything to do with core execution. When you provide associates with an opportunity to participate in company-sponsored fundraisers and community events, you're engaging them. By giving them a voice and suggesting which events you hold and allowing them to provide feedback around your program on a regular basis, you're empowering them. Engagement and empowerment lead to higher levels of performance. And higher levels of performance contribute to increased productivity. And does performance level and productivity impact core execution? Yeah, you bet it does. So another one that I hear a lot of is, well, there's no real return on investment associated with charitable giving. A culture of giving enhances your company's image. And this is really important because out there, image is everything. Okay? The image that your company projects can have an impact on whether your associates stay or go. It can impact whether a customer chooses to do business with you or take their business elsewhere, maybe even to one of your competitors. And it can impact whether that potential job candidate decides to not only apply for a job with your company, but accept an offer from your company, or whether they decide to pass you up in favor of another company. Associate retention is important, but the attraction of talent to your company is just as important because this is necessary to support continued growth. And it's a fact that strong candidates are attracted to a culture of teamwork, of delivering positive results, and of giving back. But now let's talk a little bit about reputation, because corporate giving also plays a critical role in the way that your company is viewed by your stakeholders. In fact, there are studies that show that companies who are engaged in supporting their communities are viewed more favorably by the public than those who are not. But I want to be specific in what I mean here when I say engaged, okay? Because, when I say engaged, I mean actively participating, all right? So writing a donation check and sending it in is not good enough anymore. It's good, don't get me wrong, and I don't want you leaving here today saying, Alessandra said we don't have to write checks anymore. You make donations. You do, and please continue to do that because that's a good thing. But it's just not enough anymore. That's not considered actively participating. If you show up on a weekend with a team of associates to a charity event, to a walk, or to a fundraiser, that's actively participating. When you solicit feedback from your associates, that's engaging. Having associates be a part of a cross-functional team that's dedicated to implementing your program, that's empowering. At MSC, we do all of these things because we believe that these are the things that make up a culture of giving. A culture where associates feel that they are a part of something bigger and that they're actually making a difference. So why are we focusing so much on engagement today? And Ken spoke to it. Peter spoke about it, and we're all talking about it today, and it's a big theme here. Well, it's important. It's really important. And also in 2011, Society for Human Resource Management published a report on job satisfaction and engagement that revealed that 83% of U.S. associates in companies are satisfied with their jobs. 83% are satisfied with their jobs. And this would be fantastic news if satisfaction and engagement meant the same thing, right? But they don't. There's a distinct difference between the two of them, and it's critical that we as business owners understand what that difference is. Satisfied associates like their jobs. They're happy to come to work. They perform their job functions well, and they do what's required of them. They're happy. Engaged associates bring passion and a higher level of commitment to their job. Engaged associates are seeking out additional opportunities. They see themselves as a part of your success. They are emotionally invested in your company's success. Engaged associates are your company's greatest asset. These individuals, by participating in a corporate social responsibility program, will serve as the ambassadors for your company's image and brand identity. So let's see. Retention, recruitment, enhanced company image, and increased brand visibility. I'd say that's a pretty good return on investment, right? Yeah. Okay, here's another comment I often hear, and this is one of my favorite ones. It takes a significant dollar investment to start and let alone maintain a corporate giving program. People often ask me what the right amount is when developing a budget for their program, how many resources they should allocate to it. And my answer is always the same. It's not the amount of money that you set aside for your program or the number of people that you have running your program that matters. It's not. It's how you leverage the resources that you have available to you and how you implement that program that's going to make all the difference. You know, every company is different. Every company is different. They come in all shapes and sizes. And so really what it boils down to is you taking a look at the resources that you have available to you and then formulating a strategy and a plan and developing a program that works for you. And the beauty of a program like this is that it works for everybody. No matter what size company you have, this program will work for you. Non importa che lingua che parli, questo programma funzionerà per voi. No importa en qué lugar del mundo te encuentres, ese programa trabaja para usted. No matter where in the world you're located, no matter what language you speak, this program will work for you. Start with the vision and make sure that that vision is tied into your company's overall mission. Your company's corporate giving program should be a living, breathing part of your culture and not a separate entity. And it's important, no, it's critical that associates at all levels in your company understand the importance of culture. At MSC, giving back to the community is part of our core values. You know, we like to say it's part of our cultural DNA. And we embed this value into a variety of different events that we hold. Everything from Take Your Child to Work Day, and Inel Cooper, who runs that program, is here today. Everything from Take Your Child to Work Day to our corporate leadership conference. So, okay, so by now you're probably sitting there going, she wasn't kidding when she said she's passionate about this topic. Yeah, I'm not. I'm excited because I've seen the results firsthand, and I'm excited because all of you can reap those same benefits of a culture of giving in your organization. But I thought that I would end, because you heard enough from me, with just a few testimonials from what our associates have to say about our culture and about our program in general. One of our associates said, "Our team was great. I feel we made a difference, and that's a great day. I was so moved by my experience. Thank you for the opportunity to be a part of this." That came from Jen. She's an associate in our Environmental Safety and Health Department, and she was referring to her experience as a Hurricane Sandy volunteer. Another one of our associates said, "I've enjoyed participating and learning how MSC reaches out to associates, other businesses, and the community to show that we are, all of us, part of this community. It gives a great sense of pride to be a part of the MSC team that does so much and helps so many." That came from Lot, and he's an associate in our IT department, and he was referring to his experience as being a part of our cross-functional community relations team. Another one said, "It is difficult to put into words what the heart feels. I was amazed and humbled by these veterans. The team spirit demonstrated by all the volunteers was very inspiring, and seeing the generosity of MSC in action makes me even prouder of this company." That was from Chris, and she actually volunteered 2 days ago as part of our 9/11 Day of Service at a residence home for veterans. And in contrast to that, I just wanted to share in closing one more testimony from one of the veterans at the home who actually wrote us a note and said, "I would plagiarize Elizabeth Barrett Browning's Song of the Portuguese to best express the height and depth and breadth of my gratitude to those fine ladies and gentlemen from MSC who visited us here. Their spirit of generosity, of labor, and gifts and gracious company touched me deeply." So these can be your associates, and the community can feel this way about your company. But whether or not they do is going to depend on you. You are the leaders. Your associates look up to you. They emulate your behavior. If you're committed to creating a culture of giving, they're going to be committed to living it. Trust me when I tell you, they will be committed to living it. Corporate social responsibility as part of a culture of giving provides a platform for leadership and skills development. But not only that, it improves productivity, it enhances pride, it boosts efficiencies, it maximizes performance, and it motivates teamwork. Strengthening your company from the inside while making a positive contribution to the community and the world outside. It starts with you. Thank you.
Well, if you're not inspired by that, I don't know what will do it. Alessandra dispelled a lot of myths and gave us some new ideas about how to begin. So first, before we have questions and comments from you, let's have a hand for this great panel. So now is your time, your chance to connect with the panel, to get more information, to help your fellow participants. Who would like to begin? Oh. You don't have the microphones. Well, this will make life easier for you. We have our two ushers going around with microphones if you have a question. Okay.
Does work? Talentism. You get the sense if you go to seminars, this is about companies doing their best, presenting their best foot forward to fight for a limited pool of talent. And yet we have, especially now, a more arduous task to form people. We know about the 1%. We know that it is largely the children of people who are already economically advantaged who can benefit from education. I was curious if your companies have any initiatives that are driven by trying to increase the size of the talent pool.
Anyone want to address that?
Yeah, I guess I can take that. So with regards to initiatives, what we've recently invested in is really strengthening our organizational development. It's been a commitment for the board of directors, from the executive, that talent management is key to grow talent management within our organization. And we hired just recently for the first time a corporate director of organizational development. So part of the initiative is sharing that information during our recruitment to let them know that we're committed to that type of development within the organization. And there is an incredible competition for top talent, incredible. And I know Alessandra mentioned how important it is during the interview process to talk about the culture of the organization. When we share that information with these candidates, they are very much impressed that we are committed to that. So that's helped us out a lot during our commitment, during our recruitment campaign.
If I can just touch on that, in the logistics space, there's certainly that competition for key talent at all levels. And we've partnered with several universities in order to broaden that pool of talent, including very specific programs, not necessarily master's programs, but even certificate programs that we've helped design. Also by allowing our experts to go into those universities to teach some of those while still being paid on our payroll. That's one thing. The other piece is around entrepreneurship. Our company is still family owned and operated. We are firm believers in entrepreneurship. And as part of our corporate giving program, we actually hold at our facility twice a year a camp called the Youth Entrepreneurship Camp, where kids 13 to 21 go through a week-long program to basically and establish business plans, et cetera, in functioning businesses that we contribute to. Again, all of and our employees can send their family members, children, et cetera, to that. That's all broadening the pool having youth who are more business ready, but also logistics experts who will help us in the long run through a broadened talent pool.
Thank you. Who else has a question? Yes, down here.
Hi. Hello? Okay. Hi. As somebody who's worked in not-for-profit for, past 20 plus years, we have very, very limited resources for, one, attracting, but then retaining our top people. I'm wondering, what's the top priorities in that, as we move forward in an area of, volatility and uncertainty?
I'm happy to address that one with a couple of thoughts where I do not believe in complexity as being the solution. So therefore, to your comment about limited resources, I think we're all dealing with that more and more. And my probably the biggest task of our HR team, broadly based, whether it's in OD, L&D, et cetera, is to simplify the programs that have been put in place before. We're in the process right now of considering and now implementing, completely getting away with performance appraisals, to give you an example, because they don't add any business value, and we're seeing the business actually standing up and applauding. So as a comment to you, I believe that we tell the folks it's about ongoing developmental feedback. Your manager's getting out there, teaching them, coaching them how to have those conversations around performance is much more critical than any annual, biannual form could ever be.
Wow, there's a game changer. All right, who has the next question? Somebody on this side. There's been a quiet group over here. Yes.
Thank you. I have a question about the corporate citizenship. Like you, we have offices all across the country. We do a lot in New York because I'm here. Mm-hmm. How do you suggest that those types of events, are they local? How do you engage a national community to perhaps participate in an event?
So we have, a lot of our activity does take place in our corporate headquarters location, which is here in Melville, and also in Davidson, North Carolina now. But we also, we have regional teams. So what we have in our company are cross-functional teams of associates that volunteer to participate in addition to their normal day-to-day job to help us to implement these different types of events and programs that we do throughout the company. So we have 5 regional teams throughout the country, as well as the ones in the 2 corporate headquarter locations. And so they really help us to promote and forward our vision of corporate social responsibility. They help to plan events, support their local communities. But I have to tell you, in all of our locations, on some level, there's support for the local community. I mean, our branch locations make contributions to their local nonprofits. They will do fundraisers. They'll do a food drive or a clothing drive. So, but everything really comes through the corporate headquarters, and that's what I oversee. So that's my responsibility as community relations manager. And we find that this is the easiest in order to ensure that everything is, everyone is operating consistently. But yes, we encourage it and we promote it throughout the different areas of the company. And it works really well. And the cross-functional teams really are a great, great thing because associates are able to have a hands-on participation in implementing the program. They have a say in the types of events that we do. And it really does a lot for that morale and for the team spirit and that team mentality. So we find it works really well.
Thank you. Who else has a question?
Hi, my name is Deborah Karp, and I'm from AXA Art Insurance. I want to say one thing first before I ask my question, and that is we took our entire company from throughout the United States last October down to New Orleans and worked for Habitat for Humanity for a day. And the response that we got from our employees just exemplifies what you said. It's awesome.
It's a great thing, right?
So my question is, I'm hearing a lot of conflict between top management and highly engaged. And sometimes they're not the same. You might have employees that are not necessarily the top of their game, let's say, but they are the most engaged. And how do you address the group that is highly engaged that is not necessarily top talent?
Great question.
That is a fabulous question. And that's part of the difficult conversation sometimes to have. And often, no one wants to have that conversation. And it lingers, and but people know, and your staff and your employees, your associates know, there's something, that individual is not providing me with the type of service that I need as a leader. And someone has to be straight up. And, there's this, Oprah Winfrey once said she looked out in the street and she saw this woman who was wearing an outfit that was probably 5 or 6 sizes too small for her, and cleavage sticking out of everywhere, right? And she said, you know what? Someone lied to her this morning. and we have to stop doing that. We have to be straight up, but there's a place for that individual because they add so much value to the organization. And so you have to have that type of conversation. It's not about, hey, listen, that person's not making the cut, get rid of them. It's like, where can that person add better value? And we have to have that type of open conversation. So it starts with you, starts with everyone. Start that dialogue.
Okay, 1 or 2 more questions. Who has been waiting?
Hello. My question is regarding generational differences with employee engagement. So I've read a number of articles that talk about millennials, so our younger generation coming into the workforce. How is your organizations, have you done anything differently on how to engage younger employees?
Well, I can tell you from our perspective, they are, again, from the corporate giving side and from the corporate social responsibility, this is something that is very, very dear to their hearts. So we hear it in the interview process. We hear, in fact, they give us tremendous feedback on, and the first thing, one of the things that they'll say to us is, I went on your website, I saw the pictures of the things that you're doing in the community, and that touched me because either they volunteered or when they were in school, they participated in fundraising, and they really are passionate about giving back. So for us, we find that that's one of the things that attracts them. And even, once they're with us, a lot of the volunteers that go out, and even just this past one that we did with the vets for 9/11, and a playground build that we did in North Carolina, the millennials, as you said, they are the first ones to get up and say, we're coming, we're out there, we want to volunteer. So that's one of the ways that, we keep them engaged. But, turn to Peter.
I was just going to add, again, Alessandra mentioned how important cross-functional teams are, and having these millennials together at the same table and sitting next to other executives,
yes,
and that they have a voice is so important, and that keeps them, engaged.
Yes, and on our teams, as I mentioned, the community relations teams, they are open to everyone at all levels in the organization. So to your point, Peter, we've had VPs working with managers or non-manager associates, and it's a great thing for them. What a morale boost. They're sitting in the same team as a vice president. And when is the last time, how often does that happen in their day-to-day job function? So it's a great way to engage people, yeah.
Just to complement that, we've done even reverse mentoring where young staff has helped some of our senior executives become more fluent or affluent, if you will, in terms of technology, for example. And we've embraced it very much. The millennials having great ideas that we've then taken. We've expanded our flex work programs, our CSR programs, because as Alessandra mentioned, it is very important to them. Studies are showing 60% of individuals who you've made a job offer to will first access the opinions of their friends and decide then based on that. So as a result of that, more so than your website, et cetera, ongoing developmental feedback is so critical to them. They want that feedback now. So really coaching your staff to be engaged, your leaders to be engaged with them. And then they've also helped us make our learning programs much more interactive and engaging than they've ever been in the past. Excuse me. So certainly embracing those differences to make improvements all across the board. Do we have time for
We have one more. Where, I don't see the hand.
in the middle, right there?
Oh, there we are. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tamisha and I'm with HBO. What would be the one piece of advice that you would give to the talent acquisition teams to help drive employee engagement?
Great ending question. Thank you. Can each of our panelists say one thing?
One thing to drive employee engagement. Engagement is not about driving employee commitment, but it's more about leadership commitments. And so as a result, establish those leadership commitments and hold them accountable to them.
I'll speak to specifically with talent acquisition. And what I encourage my recruitment staff and all my hiring managers is to be honest, to be brutally honest. Do not paint this, blemish-free portrait of the organization. Let them know where our warts and blemishes are, but let them know how our organization addresses them. Be honest with regards to opportunities and what we're doing to try to improve. The more we speak to that and it becomes consistent at all stages of the recruitment and talent acquisition, it's incredible how employees said, wow, no matter who I spoke to, it was resonating. It was a consistent message, and that's helped us in our recruitment.
Yeah, and I would say, underscore the importance of culture and, how that, really does, how you live and breathe the culture, your core values. Always keep that at the forefront. Never lose sight of that. And also try to engage associates, as we said, honesty, integrity, talk about that. But also be sure to have them understand that there is something bigger than themselves that they can be a part of. Working together as a team really drives the growth of the company, and participating especially in a program where giving back is at the forefront, that really does help as well. Definitely continue to drive that and the importance of culture.
Thank you very much. And before I turn the panel over to Darren, say another round of applause for the panel and for all of our questioners.